Hey everyone, welcome to another Reality Skewed Gamers video and live stream. I am Finity, and today we are doing something different that we hope to do a few times over the next few months here, and that is remodding characters for some of our definite supporters. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, on the screen you will actually see the new RSG website. In order to get there, it is realityskewedgamers.com. Now the website is still under construction, but we are working on getting some information up here very shortly, probably within the next couple weeks. But one thing that we want to point out is if you scroll down on the main page, you will see a link to help RSG travel to Orlando for a charity run. We are trying to get to Run Disney in April in order to do an event to raise money for a charity again. Last year, or I should say this year in June, we raised over $10,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And this coming year in 2019 in April, we're hoping to raise money for another charity. It may be AFSP. We're still kind of deciding on which charity it's going to be. So stay tuned for that. But as part of it, we are trying to get to Disney in order to do the charity run on April 7th. Now, the charity run is a half marathon. And once we are able to know for sure that we're traveling there, we're going to set up a campaign, most likely on Pledge It, where we could have all of our supporters donate based on the number of kilometers we're able to run, or you can do one-time donations. All of that's going to be set up. But if you go to our webpage, you'll see the links here. One of the links is to go to the GoFundMe and support us. Part of what we're doing with that is if you donate $25 to the GoFundMe, I will help you remod 5 of your characters. And one of the people that did donate to the cause is Mr. Spaceman Tim. So Mr. Spaceman Tim, please say hi to the peoples.
Hey guys, unfortunately though I'm not Mr. Spaceman Tim. I am MirageByM, also known on YouTube as Walter Arnold. I don't want to sully the good name of Spaceman Tim.
I apologize. I apologize. I should have known better. This is
quite alright.
Yes. So Spaceman Tim is one of the people, and I have to schedule with him, but yes, this is Walter Arnold. I already failed. Oh my god, and I put that in the event title. I'm going to change the event title right now. It's a total fail on my part. Wow.
It's quite alright. Hashtag we blame Finn.
Yes, hashtag I blame Finn is a real thing. And Spaceman Tim is in the thing, and he's like, oh, you're remodding mine. No, I'm not god damn it. So much fail to already start this. But I do have somebody that did support, so I do want to say it properly. This is Walter Arnold, who did support as well. So I changed it on the title now, so if you refresh, it doesn't say Spaceman Tim. Wow.
No worries at all. No worries at all. I've been called much worse.
Yes. God. All right, not off to a great start here. Okay, so we are going to remod Walter Arnold's 5 characters. So on the screen now, as I'm changing it, we will see the GG page for MirageByM. And what 5 characters would you like to remod today?
So I am right now. I'm about 107 out of 145 to unlocking Traya. Our guild has the raid on farm, so I should be getting it, unlocking her within the next like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think I'm about 6 raids away from getting her unlocked. So I'd like to get my Traya team kind of in order for that. I know some of them still need to get a little bit on the gear side, and I'm working on that while I'm also saving up for the gear needed for Traya. But I haven't focused really anything on the Sith mods. So I figured this would be a good time to take a look at that with you.
Okay. So we are going to look at the Traya team, and we'll specify kind of the 5 characters, and we'll put aside maybe some mods for Traya then in order to get that going. But one thing that I will be using is my spiffy writing tablet here. So thank you very much again to the person that did donate it to me from the Amazon wish list. And so we'll be using the whiteboard here in order to do the remodding. And so we're going to start out with his Traya team. And so I imagine you're going to be looking at the typical Traya team of Traya, Nihilus, Sion. How are your Sith Trooper? What characters in specific are you looking for?
Yeah, probably Sith Trooper. I've still got to get some gear on mine. I just got him up to gear 8 today. I've got all the gear to probably get him up, but a lot of that gear crosses over with Traya, so I'm debating on whether or not to spend that on him now or use it on Traya. So, but yeah, probably the Sith Trooper. My Sion's almost gear 12. Vader, Nihilus, Palpatine, all gear 12 with most of the pieces on gear 12 plus.
Okay. So then, who did you want as your 5th then? If you have Traya, Sion, Nihilus, Trooper, who were you looking at as your 5th?
I'm open to suggestions. I honestly haven't spent a lot of time looking into that team. I've been running Bastilla Sean Jedi team in Arena for the most part. So so whomever you suggest, actually.
Okay. So there are a couple of different ways we can go, and we can take a look at your roster. So I'm going to bring your GG page back up, and we can take a look at your characters. Now, there's a few different ways you can go. Do you anticipate that you're going to be playing the Traya team or a counter team? More likely than not. How is your arena shard?
My arena shard's pretty full of Traya teams right now. So I'm on one of the very, very early shards. I started when the game first came out and then didn't really play for about 6 months after that, and then came back into the game. So I've kind of constantly been behind the curve for a lot of the arena. So so I'll probably, I mean, from what I understand, Traya team is a decent counter to a Traya team. Is that right?
Okay, so Traya team can be a counter to a Traya team. It's a little bit more of a finesse. If you're looking for more of a pure counter to a Traya team, you're looking at an Emperor Palpatine lead with the Triumvirate. So there's kind of two different directions you can go. And I'll put the whiteboard back on the screen here. And so one of the teams is, and let me get the mouse going here. Okay, so one of the teams is Sith Trooper with Traya, and Traya is going to be your leader. Sion, Nihilus, and then either Enfys or Thrawn. So those are going to be two of the teams that you'll want to use if you're using a Traya team. But if you're looking for a Traya counter team, so I'm going to call it a Traya counter. The Traya counter team you're looking for is going to be an EP lead with Traya, Nihilus, Sion, and then again either Enfys or Thrawn, but I actually prefer Thrawn because, especially if you're facing a Sith Trooper, having that fracture in order to remove another taunt really works well. Mm-hmm. So this is if you're running the counter team, the EP lead, and then the Traya team is going to be your defense team no matter what. Now, there are overlapping characters, right? So you have Traya as an overlapping character, you have Nihilus as an overlapping character, you have Sion as an overlapping character. You'll potentially have Thrawn, depending on which one you want to run, with Thrawn or Enfys on defense. And then Emperor Palpatine is a set-aside, depending on whether or not you want to run him in lead, and then Sith Trooper is another one that doesn't have any overlap. So in your arena shard, do you feel like your mods are equal to the people at the top, or are they a little bit behind because you said you took a little bit of a break?
Yeah, they're probably a little bit behind in general. I'm usually able to get into the top 50 and then climb back up into there each day. Because of the so many Traya teams that I've got in there and not really having a fantastic counter to them yet, I've usually been avoiding them and just kind of hitting the Emperor Palpatine leads with my Jedi team, and been avoiding the Trayas for the most part. So it probably would be nice to have a good Traya counter. That way I might be able to climb a little bit higher.
Okay. So if we go with the counter team then, and where is your, okay, so your Enfys is gear 11 5-star but doesn't have a Zeta, so the team is going to be very difficult if you don't have the Zeta on Enfys. Do you plan on putting a Zeta on her, or are you saving? What is your Zeta plan?
So I'm saving right now. I've got about 80 Zetas on hold too for Traya, and then I was planning on saving some for Django when he comes out. But I'm open to to using these in other places if if my Enfys is just about ready to go and just needs Zeta, then I don't mind slapping one on her.
Okay. So I think you're actually in a good position. You may not need the Zeta on her. Now, it's up to you if you want to use her or not. She is a really good character. But if you're going to use her in Arena, she definitely needs the Zeta. And the reason why is if she doesn't ignore Taunt, when she counterattacks, she's going to always attack Sion, and that's going to get Sion his revive much quicker.
Gotcha.
So you have to put the Zeta on Enfys, especially with the current meta, in order to really use her in Arena. So with that being said, I don't think that you're in a bad position to just focus on Thrawn. So if we're going to focus on the counter team, then the team we're looking at, we have our 5 characters I think that you'll want to mod, which are going to be... I accidentally pressed a button on the mouse. Okay, there we go. So we're looking at then Emperor Palpatine, Traya, Nihilus, Sion, and Thrawn. So are you good with those as kind of the 5 characters? And Traya's mods we can put on a different character temporarily, and then you can shift them over.
Sure, that sounds great to me.
Okay. So we'll start out with those 5 characters. We'll focus on the Emperor Palpatine Traya counter team. And good side of that is if you use Thrawn instead of Enfys on that defense team, the only one you need to really mod up is Sith Trooper. And the benefit of modding Sith Trooper is that he's going to have a different mod set than any of your other characters, really. He's a tank that you want kind of slow, really tanky. So he's going to be fairly easy to just find like a bunch of health mods, essentially. Health sets, defense sets if you want to, but health sets in particular can do really, really well on him. He'll recover health with Traya's lead. And I imagine you're planning on double Zetaing Traya, right?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, so then what you can do is essentially when you're going on defense, just switch Traya into lead and then switch out Emperor Palpatine for Trooper, and you have your defense team kind of set up. So we're in a good spot here. So let's do your first character. And with these, what's going to be important is getting Thrawn fast. We need Thrawn as fast as possible. So what we're going to do first is do the typical kind of diagram that I do in order to figure out speed optimization, right? And so we're going to look at speed optimizing Thrawn. Now, if I go to your mods, and so I'm gonna. I didn't want to do the filters here. Because I was showing a different screen on stream, let me switch over here. Okay, so this is kind of the overall plan for, and I'm going to say it correctly this time. Oh, I'm not doing it on the hidden layer. There we go. Okay, so we are doing this for Walter. I hate, I'm still not used to this thing yet. Walter Arnold. There we go. Okay, not Spaceman Tim, Walter Arnold. And I'll put not Spaceman Tim. That's going to come later. Okay. So, Walter Arnold, this is his strategy. So we have the Traya team that we're going to be looking forward to later, but there's overlapping characters with Traya, Sion, Nihilus, and Thrawn. But we're going to focus on the Traya counter team, which is Emperor Palpatine lead, Traya, Nihilus, Sion, and Thrawn. So we're going to go to his GG page. Now, one thing that has changed since the update, there are a lot of things we're going to want to do with the actual in-game aspect. The benefit of the in-game versus GG is that now you can see all of your mods in-game, right? So it's not just the characters that you have mod equipped on that shows up, and we'll still look through those. But now in-game you can search for it. So Walter, I'm going to need your help as we kind of go through this just to verify which mods are your fastest.
Sure thing.
Okay. And one nice thing is that the filters that are currently set up on GG are actually very similar to the in-game. So as we talk about the filters in GG, we're actually going to have a pretty good parallel with what is available in-game for you to actually do. So let's start off like we always do with the square. So we're going to select the square. In game, one thing you're going to want to make sure you do, especially if you have any mod loadouts or anything selected, is when you go to your mod screen, in the filters, you want to make sure that both of the boxes at the top, which is the unassigned and the mods only not in loadouts, both of those are unchecked. Because we're going to be starting as if these are your main characters, right? They're your arena characters. They should be your best modded characters. And so you want to make sure that they're unchecked. As we go through here, we're going to look at the square mod first. We're going to click the speed set. And then we're not going to include anything about rarity or anything yet. As we go through this, we'll discuss kind of 4 dots, 5 dots, all that kind of stuff. But for the secondaries, we're going to click speed secondaries. And we will apply those filters both on GG and in-game. Okay, so on GG, your current fastest speed mod is listed as a 13 speed on Han Solo. So my question to you is that the same fastest mod? Oh, and then also you want to sort by speed. So once you do the filter on the sort, you want to sort it by speed. And because we're doing Thrawn, everything is going to be sorted by speed.
Yeah,
so,
and that is the fastest mod that's showing with that sort.
So we're going to do a speed set and again a non-speed set. Okay, so we're doing two boxes here. And so for your speed set, your fastest one is a 13 and it's on Han. Okay. Let's go to, and we'll skip the arrow for now because we have to treat the arrow differently than we previously used to do. So let me actually do this because it may show up better for everyone. So I'm going to do these kind of at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to leave the little box in the bottom right here so you can kind of see how I'm doing my diagram. So we're going to do next is we're going to do the filters again, but we're going to skip the arrow and we're going to go to the diamond. And when we go to the diamond, the fastest one is listed as Han Solo at 15 speed with the speed set.
Yep, same here.
Okay, so we are going to 15 again on Han. So for some reason, Han has all of your speed. We'll have to discuss that later. Okay. Next one is going to be the triangle. So we're going to unclick the diamond, go to the triangle, apply those filters. And it looks like your fastest one, a 23 on Thrawn.
Let's see. Oh, maybe my filter is wrong on here. Speed triangle, speed secondary?
Yep.
Huh, it's not showing on my in-game. Oh, it's because I'm on Thrawn. Yep, okay. That's correct.
Okay, so we have a 23 on Thrawn. Okay, then we're going to go next to your circle. Okay, and your fastest circle is listed as a 17 speed on Grandmaster Yoda.
Correct.
Okay, so we have a 17 speed on Grandmaster Yoda. And then we're going to go to your cross. And I'm seeing a 19 speed on Hermit Yoda.
Correct.
Okay. So let's get the 19 speed on Hermit Yoda. Now, one change from the previous video is that now we also have the upgrades to 6E and all of that stuff, right? And so what we're going to do with the arrow, right? So we know we have a 30 speed arrow. I'm sure you have plenty of them with speed set, right? So we're going to do arrow, speed set, speed primary. But what we're going to do when we look at it now, right, so I'm going to go ahead and apply the filters on yours, is also try and get a gold or 6E mod, which is going to be 32 speed, right? But we're going to look primarily for a gold, or a 30, especially on your main characters. The reason why, if you guys don't know already, they're about to introduce a lot of different ways to add mod slicing mats. And that's going to include this new smuggling event that is similar to the credit heist that's going to be joining soon. And the other aspect of it is they're also going to add it to the Sith raid. And so you're going to be able to get slicing materials. The mats utilized for slicing up to 6E from 5A do not overlap with any of the other slices. And so if you start accumulating those, you're going to want to start slicing up to 6E. Slicing up the arrow mod is not terrible because you're guaranteed 2 speed increase versus the, 4, right? There's 4 speed increase. I think it goes to 30. No, it goes to 32. So 2 speed increase versus the 1 speed on all of the secondaries. But you do get some of the upgrades to the other secondaries, right? But you're going to focus on your arena first. And so you want to be in a position that your gold mats are going to start upgrading quicker. Your gold mods are going to upgrade quicker. And so you want to try and get as many gold mods on your main arena squad as you can, so you can get that upgrade to 6E quicker. One caveat, just to kind of remind yourselves, the gold mods to go to 6E have to be on a character with gear 12. So a Traya has to be 7-star and gear 12 in order to get the upgrades and the benefits of a 6E. So if you have it on your characters already, it won't let you slice up to the 6E. But if you slice it up on a different character and then move it, you're going to find that you're not able to put it on there. So make sure you guys are planning accordingly if you guys are going to do that. Okay? So with that, you do have a 30 speed on Thrawn already, and in order to minimize any kind of credit loss or anything like that, we'll just focus on the 30 on Grand Admiral Thrawn. Okay? So, any questions so far about the speed set as we've put it together? This isn't the final one, but just your fastest speed set, speed secondaries, and total.
Yep, looks good. Makes sense.
Okay, so then the next one we're going to start looking at is your non-speed. What I'm going to do first, just to have an idea about your mods, is I'm just putting speed set, speed secondaries, and you don't have to do this in-game, but this is just to kind of give me an idea. And when you guys are going through your mods, you'll want to do something similar. You do your speed set, you look at speed secondaries, go to the bottom of the first page and see how much speed secondaries you have. And your first page ends at +3. You drop out of double digits fairly quickly. And so the reason I look at that is because when I look at non-speed, right, do I want to include speed set or not? The reason I call it non-speed is because you don't have to necessarily focus on the speed set, but if you have a lot of speed mods, it doesn't really matter necessarily if you use a speed or not, right? You're not going to miss that speed set until you get all the way down to maybe like your 20th character or 15th character when you're modding. But if you don't have a lot of speed sets, you're going to lose that speed secondary potentially on a character that may be your 6th or 7th best. And those characters, while they may not be your main characters, they're still characters that you want to have modded well. They might be your second team in Arena, they might be a main team for you on defense in territory wars, whatever it is. You don't want to lose your speed set too early in your modding of characters. So with the number of speed sets that you have, I'm going to avoid using speed sets. In order to simplify, I'll leave it there. So when we select mods now, we'll start with the square again, right? With the sets, rather than selecting everything besides speed, what we'll do is we'll just leave everything unselected, so it picks all of your mods, but we'll ignore speed set and just find your highest non-speed set one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll start off with your square, and we'll do the square. We'll look at all sets, but we're going to ignore speed set and then speed secondaries. So when I look at all of your mods, your fastest one is a 16 on R2-D2. Is that the same as what you see in game?
Let's see. Oops.
Let me know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have a 16 on R2. Now the bright side on this one too, R2's mod is a blue, so you actually have a chance for a few slices on this one too. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Next thing we'll look at is we'll look at the diamond. Okay, so I'm switching the square to a diamond, keeping everything still the same. I'm also on the diagram going to put a little H next to R2, just to kind of remember that this is a health set that's on him. If we can get a 2-piece bonus. Now, more important for us right now is focusing on the actual speed itself. But if we are able to get a 2-piece bonus, just because of the way things work out, we will try and focus on it. But the next one, in terms of the diamond, the fastest one I see is a 18 speed on Jedi Training Ray.
Correct.
Okay. So we have an 18 that's on Jedi Training Ray. Okay. And then we will look at the triangle. And yeah, Nathaniel Morgan, a blue mod with that speed, it can definitely become a god mod. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, and this is Jedi Training Rays was a crit damage. I'm gonna make a note of that. So we have a crit damage. It looks like it says OD. Let me clarify that. CD. Okay. Then we have the triangle. Now your fastest triangle is listed as Thrawn, but that's a speed set, so we're going to ignore that. We're going to move to the next one, which is a 19 speed on Rex. Is that the same as you see in game?
Yep, that's what I'm showing.
Okay. So we have a 19 on Rex. That is a potency set. Then next, we're going to go to your circle. And the fastest circle I see is an 18 speed on Enfys. That is an offense set.
Correct.
Okay, so we have 18 on Enfys, and it is an offense set. And then lastly, we're going to go to your cross, and you have a 22 speed on Rex that I'm seeing.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we have a 22 on Rex, and this one is a crit damage. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the arrow. You can do the arrow. You would do the same thing we did previously and find it, right? The only reason I'm not is because I know that this speed is going to be either 30 or 32, depending if you upgrade it or not. But even if it's 32, I can see that some of the values here are going to be a lot lower than that. So we can just go ahead and move on from this point. I'm going to assume that we're going to use a speed arrow.
Yeah,
so,
and I don't have any that are 32 yet. So.
Okay, so that makes it even easier. So
yeah.
The next thing we're going to do is now do the subtraction. So in each of these, we're going to do a subtraction of the speed minus the non-speed numbers and figure out what the difference is if you use a speed versus a non-speed. So if we start with the square, we're going to have a -3. If we're doing the arrow, we know it's going to be a 0. If you do the diamond, it's going to be a -3. If we do the triangle, it's going to be a +4. If we do the circle, it's going to be a -1. And if we do the cross, it's going to be a -3. Okay? With me so far?
I am.
Okay. So then the next thing is we're going to try and find the 3 highest values. So the highest one is obviously the +4. Then we have the 0 in the arrow. We have a -1 in the circle. And then we have 3 of them tied with -3. And so the question then becomes, which ones are we going to utilize, right? In general, what I like to do, if possible, is avoid using crit damage. There's really only 2. There's now a 3rd with offense, right? But the most important sets are really the 4-piece sets, and that's going to be your critical damage, your speed, and your offense. The other ones now do have a lot of use, don't get me wrong, but the 4-piece ones are the ones that are really the hardest to put together because you need 4 of them, and they provide a huge benefit. And the one in particular that I like is critical damage. And so I want to try and save one of the critical damage mods if possible. So we have the one on Rex, and we have the one on Jedi Training Ray, right? So it's either the cross or it's going to be the diamond. And so when I'm looking at the cross, just as a reference, I see that it's an offense primary, which is a really nice primary to have. I'm going to go back to the diamond, and look at Jedi Training Rays, and Jedi Training Rays is, so obviously it's a diamond, so it has the defense, but in looking at the secondary stats, it has potency, and then it has a lot of health. So I think for Thrawn, it would be better to save that offense for a different character. I would rather have the Jedi Training Ray one on Thrawn, right? So I do not want the speed set on this one, so I'm actually going to box out the plus, the cross mod. So the cross mod we can get from the speed set, and now for the non-speed set we're going to use the diamond and the square. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that means now when we do our final diagram as to where are we getting the mods for Thrawn, and there's one other step here, but I know it's going to be fine, but when you have these 4 boxes, you want to add them up, and in total, it adds up to 0. So you get +4, +0, -1, -3 is going to equal 0. And what that means is that by using only 4 of these speed sets, right, your 4 fastest ones, if you're putting the speed set on there instead of the non-speed, what is your total gain or loss in speed? And with this, because you have really high speed set ones in particular, you're not actually going to lose any speed by using the speed set instead of the non-speed set. So your total is actually going to be 0. And then you have Thrawn. What is your Thrawn's base speed? I don't know if they fixed that in game to actually show it. Let me go to your characters and see if it shows kind of the... Oh, good. It does show the kind of modified. So your blue number in your game shows 111?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what we can then do is your Thrawn has 273 speed, and he has 111 for mods, which means that his base is going to be 162. If his base is 162 and speed gives a 10% bonus, that means you're going to gain 16 speed by using a speed set. So as a result of using the speed set, while the difference is 0, you're also going to gain 16 from the speed set. So in total, you're going to gain 16 speed by using your speed set. So this shows that you do want speed. You do want to use the 4P speed set instead of the others. Okay. And so when you look at what your final mod locations are going to be, from your square, you're not going to use the speed set, so you're going to get your square from R2-D2. Your arrow will be from Grand Admiral Thrawn. Your diamond will be from Jedi Training Ray. Your triangle is going to be from Grand Admiral Thrawn. Your circle is going to be from Grandmaster Yoda. And your cross is going to be from Hermit Yoda.
Okay.
Okay. And then, in total, what you're going to get for your speed, and let me see if I can bring it up here. Come on. It's not showing up. Hold on. Why are you being silly? There you go. Okay. Let's get the old... Ah. Okay, come on. You can do it. There you are. Does it show up on the screen? No, it doesn't show up on the screen, but that's fine. But what we're going to do is figure out what your speed on your Thrawn is going to be, right? So you have a plus 111 right now. And so what we're doing is we're going to add up those boxes. So you're going to get a 16 from R2 plus a 30 plus a Jedi Training Ray is 18, 23, 17, 19 plus 16 from your speed set. And in total, that's going to be plus 139 speed.
Okay. Yep.
And then so when you add that to your 162, your Thrawn is going to have a speed of 301.
Wow.
So you should be able to get a 301 speed Thrawn.
Very nice.
Okay, so I'm going to change the color here. And so your final mods for Thrawn are going to be the ones that I'm kind of circling on the screen here in red. This is for Thrawn. Okay, so that's your first character.
Perfect.
All right, so let's move on to the next one then. And what I'm going to do, let me see how the easiest way to do this. I'm just going to clear this, but we'll remember when we do the comparisons to not include those. So we can kind of keep on referencing this a little bit to make sure we're not including those mods. The best way to do it, and so this is why I was saying that you want to do what should I say? The loadouts you want to create without utilizing this set itself. And what I mean by that is you want to create mod loadouts based on the character, not necessarily the speed set, right? So you don't want to call it, you can call it a speed set, but I would identify it with Thrawn when you put this together. So you would say it's the Thrawn max speed or something like that. And then moving forward, you know, when we do like the searches in game and all that, you will want to exclude loadouts, and that will exclude Thrawn. And so you can exclude just the characters that you've already modded. So you'd exclude a character like Thrawn because you already modded him, right? And then Thrawn mods won't show up in the game. It's the same way that we were using the squads in GG beforehand.
Right.
So you just kind of keep on excluding character by character as you create these new mod sets. You save it as a loadout, and you move on. So you will kind of just work through each of those. Oh, Nathaniel Morgan is correct. Sorry about that. So you only get 15 speed, not 16, because 12 of those speed is from the Gear 12 pieces. I imagine you have both of them on him. Yeah, you have both Gear 12 plus pieces. Yeah, so that extra plus 12, I forgot, that's now we have that speed showing up on that one. Yeah, so the plus 12 speed won't be included, so it'll be 15 speed. So it'll actually be 300 even speed that you get.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you for pointing that out, Nathaniel Morgan. Yeah, I keep forgetting that the 12 of that speed is now on that final tier. It didn't used to be that way, so it used to be a little bit easier. So, so I'm going to change that here. Okay. Yeah, so if I change this here, 0, this is going to be 15, 15, right? And it's going to be 131. No, all right, 8. I don't change a 9 to a 1. There we go. 138. Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. Okay. So this is going to be your Thrawn modding. So let me... do that. Okay. So now we're going to move on to your next character. Okay. So going back to kind of your original character list, right? So we've now done... And I'll change the color again. I'll go back to my red. We've now done Thrawn. And Thrawn is the one that we know we're going to want a lot of speed. The next one kind of varies a little bit on what your preference is. So I'll let you kind of choose how you want to do it, and we can kind of go from there. If you plan on using on defense Traya as your lead, right? One thing that I like is if you have a crit avoidance arrow on Sion. It's kind of up to you whether or not you want to do it. But here is kind of the overall result of what happens. If the opposing Sion or the opposing team is faster than your character, right? Then what will happen is Sion will put debuffs on your character and your Nihilus will gain turn meter. So getting a fast Nihilus is important. So you do want to have a fast Nihilus. Right? And we know Thrawn is going to be your fastest. What happens next is how you want your Sion to go. Sion going fast is a good thing. Your Thrawn being the fastest means you can turn meter swap with your Nihilus, and your Nihilus can do your turn meter reduction first. That's going to be your typical sequence. So it doesn't really matter too much in terms of your speed on Nihilus. You're going to want him fast, but he doesn't have to be super fast because you're going to be relying on your Thrawn. What's more than up to you is how you want your Sion. Do you want your Sion really, really fast? Or do you want him still really fast, but with a crit avoidance arrow? And it kind of depends also on your mods and how many crit avoidance arrows you have with speed secondaries. So let me look there. If I go to arrow, crit avoidance, and speed secondary, let's see how many you have and whether or not it's even worthwhile to go that direction.
I think I have a crit avoidance on him right now. I want to say the speed is like 12 off the top of my head, or 11 maybe.
Yeah, go ahead and check in game and run the filters. So you'll do an arrow with the crit avoidance primary and a speed secondary. The one I see in GG is on your Sith Trooper, and he has 11 speed, which isn't a huge number. You're looking for hopefully somewhere at least 14 or higher. I would actually hope for higher if you're really using it. Otherwise, I may just go speed.
Yeah, that's the fastest. Yeah, so I've got one on Sion that's 11 speed, one on Sith Trooper that's 11 speed, both crit avoidance.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the highest I got.
Okay, so I think in your case, I would just focus on speed because you lose a lot of speed as a result of not getting that arrow. It's up to you how you really want to do it. I think, and I'm double checking mine, I'm pretty sure mine is 14, and to me that was kind of the cutoff, and I was okay with having that. But I wouldn't go below 14 because you start to lose more than 15 speed. I mean, I'm already losing 16, but I wouldn't. When you do 14 and you take it to 6E, which you have to take it to 6E in order to get that crit avoidance stat up, okay. You gain that 1 speed, and now you have 15, so you're losing 17 off the 32 max, versus if you're anything lower. So that's just my personal cutoff. So for you, I think I would just go with straight speed on Sion and just trying to get him as tanky as possible.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. The other place where I'll be using it quite a bit will be Territory Wars. My guild's very, very hardcore into Territory Wars, so so if it's better to have a little bit extra speed rather than the crit avoidance for placing Traya on defense, because that's probably where I'll be using her the most in Territory Wars, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so then definitely it's going to help. Oh, I merged this with the wrong layer. Hold on, let me merge these layers. Mixing up all my layers here. Okay, there we go. So let's close this layer and open a new one for these notes. Okay, there we go. Okay, so yeah, so a fast Sion does help in Territory Wars. You're not going to have the easy counters as you do kind of in Arena because you have all of your characters available. So that's perfectly fine. So we're going to kind of do the same steps. We're going to go a little bit quicker now since we did it kind of slowly and in detail for the first one. Okay, so we're going to start out with the square. We're going to do speed set. We're going to do speed secondaries. And I'm going to make my notes here. So now we are doing Sion. We're aiming for him to be fast with some tankiness. Right? So we may sacrifice a little bit of speed here and there in order to get better tanky speed. Okay? And so we're doing the speed. I'm drawing a little bit at an angle. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Okay. So we're doing speed. We're doing non-speed. And so we didn't use your square last time. So your fastest square is going to be your 13 speed on Han. And it does have some speed, has some health on the secondary. So I do like that one for him.
Yes.
Hi, keyboard. And Bimasu. If you give $800, I will work with you on your entire roster. Just so you know.
That'll be a long stream.
It will be. It'll be a long stream. I'll have to set aside a day for Bimasu, but I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. So we did the square. We'll go to the diamond next. And then confirm for me also. I think we did this last time, so these ones are a little bit easy. The 13 speed is your highest one there.
Correct.
If we look at your diamond, your fastest one is still going to be your Han Solo. Right, it's because we didn't use that one. So we have your 15 speed on your Solo as your fastest. That one has some protection. There's a 4 speed drop on the next one. You do get a lot of health with the one on R2. So the one on R2 honestly is a little bit tempting for me right now. You do gain the potency, which is nice for him. So what I'm going to do is actually in a different color here. I'm going to go with a blue. I'm going to mark the 11 on R2. And that's going to be just kind of another one. I want to see what your overall loss is going to be at the end, but it's quite possible that we'll go with your 11 speed. And as part of the reason is kind of the sequence of events of your team. What will happen is your Thrawn is going to hopefully turn meter swap first with your Nihilus. Your Nihilus is going to do the cooldown reduction. Your Sion will be gaining speed, especially on your attacking squad from the Emperor Palpatine lead. And so you're going to have all this ability to gain turn meter, and losing 4 speed over the course of everything is not a lot. But if we start losing 4 on every single spot, then obviously we have to reconsider.
Sure.
So we'll keep the 11 in mind here, and we'll move on to your diamond next. And I'm going to switch back to black here. And so now the next one is, so we use the 23 speed on Thrawn, so that one is not available to us. So your next speed is a big drop off. It's a 10 on First Order Officer. Is that the same as what you have in game?
Yeah, I've got a 10 on Han as well.
Yeah, I see that one as well. The one on First Order Officer is a defense primary, so I like that a little bit more than the crit damage on Han.
True.
And it also has a lot more protection. So I think the First Order Officer one is going to be a little bit better. So we'll put First Order Officer as your next one. So next we'll go on to your circle. And so your circle, we use the 17 on Grandmaster Yoda. So the next one I see is a 15 on Hermit Yoda. Is that the fastest one you have in game as well?
Yep.
Okay. That one is a health primary, which I do like quite a bit for Sion, because again, Traya recovers health for all the Sith on the team, and then also has some health secondary. So it's a fairly good mod actually for Sion. So we're going to do Hermit Yoda for your 15. And then we're going to go to your cross mod. And your plus sign mod, we use the 19 from Hermit Yoda. So the next one I see is a 12 speed on R2.
Yep, potency primary.
Okay. So we have a 12 speed on R2, which is a potency primary, which can help Sion. You also have health secondary and potency and tenacity. So it's a fairly decent mod. You do also have an 11 on Sion that gives protection. It also has a health primary. It has some defense. It has some critical chance. Neither of them is bad for Sion. I do like the fact that it's a high percentage. So it's obviously a primary. It's a 5.88% health. When it's a primary, it's usually better than that secondary of 251. And so I think for this one, we're going to stick with your Sion and go with the 11 speed that's currently on Sion.
Okay.
Okay, so for your mod, we're going to put the 11 speed on Sion. So we have all of that. Then we'll look at your arrow. So we're looking at speed primary arrow with speed set. Okay, because we saw that crit avoidance you don't have. That would be the other kind of primary if you want to go with that one. We already saw that Thrawn we have used, right? What I'm going to look for in the secondaries is if you have anything with a flat health secondary. And
Gotcha.
For your speed set, you do have some with the flat health. There isn't a huge difference between your one on Krennic and the one that's on Grandmaster Yoda. The difference, especially when you look at it, and I'm sure you'll see it, the health may not be too far, but the Grandmaster Yoda one is a gold mod, and the one on Krennic is a gray mod. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have those gray mods, so it's not going to be uncommon to see those. You also have one on Sion that's a little bit more of a loss, but it also has full defensive stats on there. The one on Krennic has a potency secondary, right, which is nice on Sion. The one on Imperial Probe Droid is also very defensive oriented, so you could potentially go with that one as well. So it's up to you a little bit. I'll leave it to you to decide how you feel you're going to do your slicing. We want to put a mod that'll stay on Sion, right? But if we put one of these gray mods, that has a lot of good secondaries. In particular, I'm going to say let's look at the Imperial Probe Droid one.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning towards.
If we go with the Imperial Probe Droid one, in order to get it up to 5A, in order to get your 4 rolls on secondaries, which should be the main thing, right? You have a lot of slicing to do. Is that something you would be able to kind of commit to? Are you able to do that?
I can slice it right now, actually, and for the first one at least.
All right. So let's do that then. Let's put your Imperial Probe Droid as your arrow. Right, so there's other little considerations here and there, especially with slicing now, that we're going to have to do. It's looking at secondaries, but also when you have like grays and stuff now, you have the option of slicing them up, but it is a commitment. So you have to decide kind of how you want to do that. Now, it may not necessarily be the thing you're going to do first, right? Speed secondaries are sometimes a little bit more important, and we'll discuss that, but if you're going to slice this up, it's a good one to slice up because everything is defensive oriented, except for potency, which Sion can use, and so it's a good mod for Sion. So with that, we have the speed set. Now we're going to do the same thing for non-speed set. And so what I'm going to do before we go to the arrow, I'm going to start again with the square. So I'm going to do the square. I'm going to do speed secondaries. I'm not going to select any of these mod sets. And we'll look at what your fastest ones are. And so your fastest one is a 15 speed, and you have 2 15 speeds. One of them is a health that's on Hermit Yoda, and you have a crit damage that's on Rex. Rex's is a little bit more defensive oriented, but your Hermit Yoda has a health on it, health secondary, which is nice. But your one on Rex actually has a chance to be upgraded because it's purple. So overall, kind of taking that all into consideration, I'm actually going to write both of them, mainly because I want to see if we can get a health bonus from Hermit Yoda set on one of the other ones, right? So I think your best choice is going to be your 15 that's on Rex. But again, as something to kind of consider, in blue, I'm going to put your one on Hermit Yoda that's also 15. And it's Hermit Yoda. And this one is a health set. And the one on Rex is a crit damage. So I'm going to make a little note of the crit damage on here. Okay, we'll skip the arrow. We'll come back to the arrow. We're going to move on to the diamond next. So for the diamond, we did use Jedi Training Ray. The next one is you have 17 speeds. And as I'm going through this, let me know if you see anything in-game different from what I'm saying, right? In case you have a faster mod or something like that.
Sure.
The 17 speed that I'm seeing, you have a tenacity on Scavenger Ray, and then you have a 17 on Hermit Yoda. And the one on Hermit Yoda is definitely more defensive. You have a lot more offensive on Scavenger Ray. So I think for this one, pretty easy. I think Hermit Yoda is going to win the battle of these two.
Yeah.
And he is a health set, so I'm going to put the little H there, so we know that it's a health set. So next, we're going to go to your diamond. Or sorry, your triangle. Okay. And we use the one on Thrawn. So your next one is a 19 speed that is on Rex. And nice thing is that it's a health primary.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a 19 on Rex. That is a health. Oh, it's a potency set, but it's a health primary. So it's a really nice one for Rex. Or for Sion, potentially.
Right.
Then next, we're going to go to your circle. And your fastest circle is your 18 on Enfys. It is very offense-oriented, right? It has offense and defense. You have a 17 speed on Ezra that is much more defensive-oriented. Again, what we're looking at here is that it is a gold mod, which can be good, but if you look at one that's not a gold, it may have that upgrade ability, right? So part of this is we're going to remod your character based on what you have, thinking a little bit in the future. But if you remember kind of what I said about remodding, it's a good idea to at least get most of your double-digit ones up to gold so that when you're remodding, you don't have to necessarily worry, is this going to go higher? Am I going to have to remod? All of that stuff, right? So we're going to play a little bit of a guessing game here to figure out what's going to be your best mod to put on that character, right? It's only a 25% chance that the speed is going to upgrade, so it's still not a huge amount. But we can kind of play a little bit predictively and try and figure out which is going to be your best. So looking at your mods overall, right? Your circles, you have the 18 speed on Enfys. I don't think we're going to use that. It's way too offensive oriented. So I'd rather drop down a little bit to the 17, if not a little more. But looking at your 17s, I don't mind the one that's on Ezra. It is a crit damage or a critical chance. It has some defense. It has 5% protection, which is not shabby at all. You have 4.2 or 424 health, which is also not bad. Which I think is it should have a 2 next to it, right? I think 424 is a double, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Okay. It looks like this is maybe a 1. What is it? 1 3 1 2.
Let's see. Actually, it's 1331.
1331. Okay, so the health of 424 is just a single health. Okay, but you got triple on the. You got double boost on the protection. So I mean, this is not a bad mod overall. 5% protection is nothing to sneeze at. And if you're using Thrawn, you can turn meter swap and get protection, so that's going to help the Sion recover a lot as well. I mean, typically you're not going to swap with Sion, but you could if he's low on health or something like that. So
Sure.
I think this one will stick with the Ezra.
Okay.
The other ones, they're not bad, but I think we have to wait a little while for the rolls, and if they don't roll, the benefit isn't outdoing the kind of the risk with these. And so we'll go with 17 on Ezra.
I do have a 14 speed that's unassigned. It's protection primary. Secondaries are health, potency, and crit chance.
I like the health speed. Primary. Again, with the Traya lead, with the health recovery and all that. So I think we'll stick with the one on Ezra for this one.
Sure.
And this is on Ezra. And it's crit chance. And again, we don't know if we're going to end up using this or not. We're trying to make these decisions first and then go back and figure out, is this the best one for this?
Right.
So then lastly, we're going to look at your cross mod. And you have your 22 speed on Rex, right, which we didn't use last time. We used the speed set there. It's an offense primary. I don't know if we necessarily need this on Sion. So it's another one of those kind of those decision points. But it's such a high speed compared to your next one. Your Hermit Yoda is a 19. It has potency, which is nice. It does have defense and protection as kind of its main stats. It's the speed set. But that one is being used on Thrawn. And so the next one then becomes your 16 speed on Enfys. Has protection primary, which again can be useful. But we're looking at about a 6 speed drop if we go down that route. So we'll take note of a couple of these as we're moving forward. So we'll put the 22 of Rex on here, right, which is a critical damage set. But we're also going to then, again, in blue, kind of make a secondary note as to what we want to focus on. And we're looking at a mod that's a little bit more defensive oriented. And there's the one that's standing out to me more than anything else is the one that's on Finn. So Finn's is a 16 speed. It's a defense set, and you're not really using defense anywhere else, so it doesn't really matter too much. But it does have health secondary. It does have defense and tenacity. Makes it, I think, a pretty solid mod potentially for Sion.
Would you like that better over the GK one that's right next to it?
So I was thinking about that one as well. There is potency, there's speed, you have the defense. You lose another speed. So we can make note of that one as well and see what kind of the loss is going to be overall. So we can put GK's mod as well here. And they're both defense sets. So we lose kind of one there.
Right.
Okay. So we have kind of this, now it starts to get a little bit more convoluted, right? When you're trying to focus characters in a particular kind of mold, and it's not just like speed, right? You're ignoring speed for everything else with Thrawn because getting him fast is that important. Sion, you need him to be pretty tanky as well, so getting him with a high health and focusing on his primary and secondary stats is all very important as well. And so we do want to try and make sure that we're focusing on that aspect. You could also potentially, and we're not doing it in this case, but you could also focus on health set primary or health primary stats on these mods as well, which is what Sion has in his speed set. So it's something to kind of consider as we're doing this. This one's going to be a little bit more detailed as we go through. Nihilus will be a little bit easier. Nihilus is going to be another, like, let's just get him fast type of character. But as we look at your Sion, right, we're going to do the subtraction again. So in the square, no matter which one we took, and we have a blue and a black listed one here, they're both going to be a loss of 2. We'll come back to the arrow. I'm going to put a 0 here for now. We'll come back to if we need to get that arrow or not. Your diamond is either going to be a -2 as a result of the solo one for additional speed, right? But if we compare it to the one in blue, we're actually going to have a -6. So I'm putting both those numbers in there so we have kind of an idea about which way we want to go. And we thought that the stats were better with the one on R2, but again, we're going to be losing speed. The one in the triangle is -9, so that one is almost definitely going to be your non-speed set. In the circle, we have 15 and 17, so you have a loss of 2. And then in the plus sign mod, we have -11, right, if we go with the Rex mod. But then if we go with one of the other ones, we are losing 5 speed, and we're losing 4 speed. Right? So if we are now trying to pick what your best mods are with speed, right? We're definitely going to take a speed arrow. We're going to definitely take a plus. We're going to take the circle, all from the speed set. We're not going to take the one from the triangle. The triangle one is a huge benefit for the non-speed. That one is a potency set. So we're not really looking at any kind of potency set here. We're not going to get the 2-piece bonus. When we look at all the mods, they just don't match up. And so what we're looking at then is, do we want the -6 from R2? Or do we want to go with another speed differential with the plus? And so it becomes a little bit of a question, which one do you prefer? You get the health set, the health primary, with the one in the speed set, right? But the problem is you're going to lose a lot of speed. A lot. So I think with the way everything is kind of working out here, limitation in the primaries and whatnot, I think we're good focusing heavily on speed. And so I think what we'll do is with your diamond, we'll focus on the -2. So we won't use the R2 one. It's going to be too much of a loss. Similarly with your cross, I think it's going to be too much of a speed loss for you to justify a speed set. And so we'll stick with your Rex and take your best speed. In this case, the loss is going to be too great, and it's not going to justify the speed set.
Right.
So what we're looking at then, in terms of figuring out what mods are going where, your arrow is going to be from Imperial Probe Droid. Your square is going to be from Han Solo. Your diamond is going to be from Han Solo. Your triangle is going to be from Rex. Your plus sign is also going to be from Rex. We're going to go with fast speed. And then your circle mod is going to be from Hermit Yoda.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and take a look at your Sion. Okay, and your Sion is gear 11. Okay, so and you're working on the other pieces in order to get him up, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm very close.
Okay, so if we look at your speed, you have 224 speed, you have 87 from mod, so he has 137 speed. And of that, I think 6 of them is from an item currently at this level. So you're gonna gain 13 speed from your set bonus. In total, you're only losing 6, so it's fine. So your total speed on your Sion, alright, so it's 137. And I'm again writing crooked. It's just the way my board is. You have 137 plus 30 plus 13, 15, 19, 15, 22, and then another 13. So your speed on your Sion should be 137, 30, 13, 15, 19, 15, 22, 13. So you should have a 264 speed Sion.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll gain you about 40 speed off your current Sion.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have Sion done.
Sweet.
So I'm gonna make a little. I'll just do it in the background one. It's gonna mess up the background. Okay, so what I'm gonna do? Let me see if I can do this cleanly here. I'm gonna switch it back to red, and we have Sions, and we can finalize this. So it's circled in red. So we have the one for Sion. And what I'm going to do is we have another layer that I'm going to try and mark what we have done so far. So far we have Sion, and I'll do this all in red so I can identify it. So we have Solo, we have Imperial Probe Droid, we have Rex, and we have Hermit Yoda. Yeah, Nathaniel Morgan, that's not bad. So Nathaniel Morgan, by the way, is saying that he went with speed set and defense sets. There's nothing wrong with that. The main thing of consideration is where are your sets and how much speed do you lose?
Mm-hmm.
And your Rex just has way too high of a speed compared to kind of your next levels. You're losing 6 speed. And just in general, right? If you lose 6 speed, you're almost not justifying enough your speed set. You're right on that verge of not justifying it. Because if you use your speed set, let's say in your cross mod here, you're going to have a minus 11, right? So you're going to have minus 11, you're going to have minus 2, you're going to have minus 2. That's a total of negative 15, and you only gain 13 from your speed set. Mm-hmm. So that means actually you're going to actually be losing 2 speed by using your speed set. And at that point, you may want to consider just slowing him down and making just a super tanky Sion. But you need him still kind of fast, so you could maybe focus on different sets altogether. But you're not going to justify having the speed set necessarily. And so we're keeping speed as still the primary focus. We did drop, I don't think we ended up, yeah, we did. In kind of the process, we ended up ignoring some of them in favor of better secondaries and all of that. So I think overall your Sion will be a fairly good build with this. He'll be fast enough that he can actually do pretty well in your arena.
Gotcha.
So we have this now, right? So your Sion is modded with these, and I'm trying to make like a final page here. And then we also have Thrawn, which we worked on, right? So let me bring back the Thrawn image. So I'm going to put that here. And so for Thrawn, we had R2, we had Grand Admiral Thrawn, we have Grand Admiral Thrawn, we had Jedi Training Rey, we had Grand Master Yoda, and we had Hermit Yoda. And I know it looks messy on the screen, but luckily this is Photoshop. I have everything kind of going on layers, and boom, now we have your final. Okay, so this is Grand Master Yoda. So these are the 2 characters we finalized so far, Thrawn and Sion. So Bimasu's saying he'd rather fight a fast Sion than a tanky Sion. If you're using a counter team with Emperor Palpatine, once you put shock on Sion, if he's not fast, he's not going to remove it, which means his entire pain thing is useless. So there's a few different ways on how you want to tackle it, right? But if you put shock in arena on a Sion, he's not going to taunt until it's his turn and he dispels using Traya's unique. And so a fast Sion can really mess that up, and he can cause, especially depending on who the isolate hits and all that kind of stuff, it can really mess that up.
Gotcha.
So again, several different ways to build it, and that's why it's kind of like a based on your roster type of thing, right? It depends on where your mods are, how everything else is set up, so we kind of go through it one by one.
So if I wanted to spend some time going through like farming defense mod sets and looking for the high speeds on those to try to mitigate that would be a good thing. Yeah,
you could definitely do defense. You could also do health. One of the things that helps with the health part of this is that you can't use Imperial Probe Droid on Sion or Sith Trooper in order to take them out. So when they're tanking, your Imperial Probe Droid, like in Territory Wars in particular, right? People often send in an Imperial Probe Droid to try and take out one of the characters. But the problem is, if Imperial Probe Droid, he doesn't do an insta-kill, he actually does massive damage, which is 99,999, which is now very easy to get in health and protection combined if you focus on protection and health. And so you could potentially focus on health on Sion and get his health really high. He will have some protection from some other things, and you can definitely increase his survival.
Nice.
Oh, I drew this on the background. Whoops. Hold on. Let me copy, create a new layer, paste it. Alright, I'll merge these. There we go. And then I will erase this one. Alright, let me erase this. I'm drawing on wrong layers and doing all kinds of things here. Okay, hold on. So I'm erasing. Whee!
Which tablet are you using for that? Is it one of the Wacom tablets?
It's what's it called? It's a Huion.
Okay.
It was on the Amazon wishlist and somebody got it for me. And it's actually really cool. I'm still getting used to it, but it's definitely helping so far. Alright. So we are back now, and the next one we're going to do is Nihilus. And Nihilus is going to be a speed focus.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go Nihilus. And we're going to focus on speed. Okay, so he's going to be a little bit of an easier. So we're going to go speed, non-speed. We have the list of kind of the other ones if we need to bring it up to see which ones we have and haven't used. So we're going to do, again, we're going to go through your mod list again. We do have the list of the ones we've already used, and so we can kind of double check and cross that off. So when we start with that, hi Ranger. Ranger's in chat. Okay.
Hey Ranger.
Okay, so we're doing square mod, we're doing speed set, we're doing speed secondaries, right? And so we have your solo one, and if we look again at your mods, we are now using your solo, right? So your solo mod is in use. So your next one is going to be your Thrawn as your 11 speed. Do you see anything faster than that in game? For
Nope.
Speed set squares. Okay. And that one is actually a gold mod, right? So it's, you took that one to 6E, and so what we're gonna compare now is a 10 speed. So remember, the gold mods adds 1 speed. So effectively, if we're kind of trying to put everything on the same plane, a 10 speed is the same as the one you have, right? It's just you've already kind of sliced this one up. And so we'll look at your 10 speed as well that's currently on Grandmaster Yoda and just kind of do a quick comparison here. And your one on Thrawn has a lot more protection, right? It has 2,000 plus protection, which is really nice to have. It increases survival. The other one has more potency. So you have a couple of different things you can do here. How do you feel? We can go either way with this one. Do you think you're going to be upgrading to 6E more often soon, or are you focusing on getting more mods to 5A?
Probably more of a focus getting to 5A in general. I bought a little bit when the packs came out to slice a few of them to 6E, but I don't plan on hardcore farming that.
Okay.
In the short term, at least.
Okay, so then in that case, we will put the one on Thrawn as the mod of choice here, since you may not get that extra speed anytime soon. So we'll put the one on Thrawn. And we don't have that currently used anywhere. So then the next one we're going to look at is your diamond. Again, we'll come back to the arrow. So for your diamond, we have used the one on solo. Right? So we go back to our list here. We have used the one on solo. We have not used the one on R2-D2. And so R2-D2 ends up being the one that we will go to. Unless you have anything else in game, but I'm seeing 11 speed as R2 as your next fastest speed set.
Yep, that's the highest.
Okay, so you have 11 speed with R2. Then next we're going to go to your triangle. We have used the one on Thrawn. We have used the one on... No, we have not used the one on First Order Officer. Right? So our fastest one is a 10 speed. And now you have a 10 speed on First Order Officer, and you have a 10 speed on Han Solo. The one on Han Solo is a critical damage. So again, I don't think we want to use the critical damage on Nihilus. Nihilus is more about survival and the Annihilate. He's not going to do a huge amount of damage necessarily. So I think we'll focus on First Order Officer with this one.
Sounds good.
Then we have your next one, which is your circle. And with your circle, go back to the list here that we've been putting together. We have used the one on Grandmaster Yoda. We have used the one on Hermit Yoda. And so your next one is a plus 11 that's on Poe. Do you have anything else in game that's different from that?
Nope, that's the next one in line.
Okay. So then your next fastest one is an 11 on Poe. Now the bright side for you on this one, it's a green mod, so you have 3 potential chances for upgrade. So that can bode well for you. And then we're going to go look at your cross. And again, we'll pull up the list of mods that we put. We have used the cross on Hermit Yoda. We have not used the one on R2. And so the next one that I see as your fastest is your 12 speed on R2-D2.
Correct.
Okay. That one is a potency primary, which actually isn't bad, so you can try and land some of those debuffs from his unique. So we'll keep R2-D2 as your speeds. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at your arrows. So we're doing arrows, speed primary, speed set. Okay. Bring up your list again. We have used the one on Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? So we're going to ignore that. So then what we're looking at afterwards are some potential stats that can help with Nihilus, right? So one of them is health. We can definitely look at health. Again, it's under a Traya lead. All that health stuff can really do well. So we'll just start off with health as a secondary stat. And again, we're kind of brought down to this list that we're used to. We did end up using, again, I'll bring up the little list here. We have used the one on Imperial Probe Droid, right? So we can exclude the Imperial Probe Droid one. And now we're looking at what the next one is that we can do. Again, we're looking at survival for Nihilus. And so the one that I like on him is the one that's currently on Sion, that has 251 health, as 1924 protection, which is more protection than the one he has. But it does have a health secondary that if you level up this mod has a chance to go up as well. Lots of defense. You want Nihilus to survive. And so I think the one that I like is Sion. What about you?
I agree. Yeah, that one looks really nice, actually.
Okay, so we're going to go with the 30 that's on Sion. Okay, so now we've done your speed set. Now we're going to do everything except the speed set. So we're going to unclick everything. We're going to go to speed secondary. We're going to start again at the square. We're going to leave everything selected, but we're going to ignore the speed set itself. And we bring up the list of the mods that he's currently used. We have used the one on R2-D2. we have not used the one that's on Hermit Yoda. And so your fastest non-speed set one is a 15 speed on Hermit Yoda. You also have the one that's on Rex, but we don't want to use necessarily critical damage. And this one is a lot more speed oriented, so I'm fine with sticking with Hermit Yoda, unless you have something faster in your inventory that's not equipped.
Nope, Rex will be the next one in line there.
Okay, so Hermit Yoda, and I'm putting a little H here to show that it's a health set. Next one, we're going to go to your diamond. Okay, again, we'll bring up your list. So we have used Jedi Training Rey, we have not used Scavenger Rey, and we have not used Hermit Yoda. And if we take a look again at the stats that we just saw, right, the Hermit Yoda one from the previous one was a health set. So let's go ahead and try and stick with that. And let's focus on the 17 on Hermit Yoda, which is a health set, which would be our most favored one. But like last time, in blue, I'm going to put that we have the 17, because Tenacity isn't a bad set either. So I'm going to put it on Rey. And I write RJT for Scavenger Rey. I write RJT for Jedi Training Rey, and I just write Rey for Scavenger. So that's how I differentiate between the two. And so then I put a little T for Tenacity. So they're both decent sets for Nihilus. Why do I have so many pings? Hold on. Oh, okay. I see why I have pings. All right. Okay. Sorry. I'm just trying to catch up on things because it's getting close to my arena payout, so I have to make sure I start attacking soon. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So I might have to take a short intermission here in a second, but we can continue. We can finish Nihilus first. Okay.
Sure.
So we did the diamond, and so next we're gonna go to your triangle. Let me change the color again back to black. Okay, and we'll bring up the list of characters. We have used Thrawn.
Yep, and
right?
Rex.
And we've used Rex. So the next one is Enfys. And Enfys has 18. Simple enough. So we're going to put an 18 for Enfys. And this one is a Tenacity. And again, it's a critical damage, but this one you have another like 3 speed drop off, and you do want to make sure your Nihilus is fast. And so we'll ignore that for this one. The one on Biggs is really nice though. Protection, huge amounts of protection, health primary, 15 speed. It may be something that we want to consider. So again, I'm going to write it in blue, but this one I'm a little bit more weary on in order to switch. But we can potentially move that way. And it's a critical damage. Then the next one, let's back up. Okay, so then the next one we're going to look at is your circle. And we'll bring up the list of stuff we've used. So your first one is Enfys, and we haven't used that one. Simple enough. So we're going to go with the Enfys 18. Okay, so we have Enfys, and this one is an offense set. And then lastly, or not lastly, we have the arrow still, but lastly for the secondaries, we're going to go to your cross. We're going to look at what you've used. So we have used Rex, so that one's gone. We've used Hermit Yoda, that one is gone. So next is your 16s, and you have one on Enfys, and you have one on Finn. And we don't really need to worry about an offense set potentially on this character, although the thing is you're not going to really use that one because you'd rather want offense as a primary stat, but it can help as well. So we can go with either one. We don't have a match anywhere. Offense is a 4-piece set. We don't have any other defenses here. So looking overall, I think Finn's is better because it has health as a secondary stat, and so we'll go with Finn's. So we'll put 16 as for Finn.
Sure.
And this one is a defense set. Okay, so we're going to do your next little diagram here. And we're going to do the subtractions. So we have -4. We'll come back to the arrow. Again, we may not even need the arrow. We know we have a 30 speed arrow, but do we even want to use it because of the speed drop? So I'm just putting a 0 for now. In the diamond, we have a -6. In the triangle, we have a -8. In the circle, we have a -7. And in the cross, we have a -4. So here's one of those now that we have to decide what we want to do. The fastest one is going to be your arrow, right? That's going to be a 0. Then you have 2 -4s, and you have a -6. So those will be your fastest ones. In total, you have a -14, right? So if you use a speed set to try and gain your bonus, you're going to lose 14 secondary. So now we're going to go to Nihilus, and he has 184 speed with 64 from mods. Okay, so 184 with 64 from mods, which means that his speed is 120. He doesn't have any gear 12 plus, right? So his is just going to be your 120. Speed set is only going to add 12 speed. You're going to lose 14 by using a speed set.
Gotcha.
So that means for this one, we're not going to worry about speed necessarily. But what we do want to do is figure out your bonuses, right? So maybe we can mitigate some of these in order to make it so you can get bonuses. So now we have to kind of go into the next tier of figuring out how we want to get your speeds. We want to try and get as many 2-piece bonuses as we can on your character so that we can kind of give him extra boosts. So with the square, right, we have a health set. That's fine for Nihilus. You have a tenacity and a health potentially on the diamond, so those are fine. You have a tenacity sitting on your triangle, which is fine for from Enfys, right? So that also kind of fits. You have a defense on Finn in the cross, which is also fairly decent. We're trying to look for 2-piece bonuses, so we're going to go back to your mods and look at your circle. And let's see if you get any 2-piece bonuses that are a little bit more worthwhile with a little bit of a loss in any kind of secondary stat. And what you'll look at, so you have 18 speed on Enfys. That's the one we kind of have listed, but it's an offense set, not really providing much. And then we're going to go through here. Again, all of your 17s, 15s, we're not going to use those. We get to the 13s. So here's one of those where if you get the slice, it's going to make this much easier. The one on Chirrut and the one that's on Visas Mar.
Okay.
If you can get one of those two slice, you're in a really good position. Because it's a health set. So which one do you feel a little bit more... Which one do you feel is going to slice more? You can take a guess.
Well, I'm not really using Visas anywhere right now, so so we could take it off her, and I wouldn't have to worry about that.
So with this current scenario that we're kind of building for your Nihilus, right? When you put this on there, you're going to go from 18 to 13. You're going to lose 5 speed, right? Which actually makes it so then potentially all of a sudden the speed set may be a little bit more worthwhile. The only thing is then you know you're going to slice it. You may get a faster mod there. So then again, you might switch back to that speed set is not going to be more worthwhile. So we're kind of planning ahead a little bit here. So when you move forward with Nihilus, just kind of keep that in mind. That your speed set, right, is lacking a little bit in speed to the point where we wanted to do more 2-piece bonuses. And we drop the speed in hopes of getting a slice. So that's what we're going to kind of move forward thinking. We're waiting on a slice to get the 13 speed on Visas higher. And as long as it gets to, it needs 2 less speed than Enfys, so 16. Right? As long as it gets 16 speed on it afterwards, that means that it's kind of justified being in that. But your blue mods have 2 chances at a slice. So hopefully you can get one of them on either Chirrut or Visas, and that'll put you in a good position. Okay? So we're going to change Enfys here to the 13 speed on Visas Mar, knowing well that we're going to lose some speed here compared to the speed set, but we're doing it with a purpose, right? So we're going to put the 13 speed on Visas. This one is a health set. So
okay.
now let's start.
I just sliced that one. I got it to 18 speed. So.
Oh well, there you go. All right. So you picked well. There we go. Now we have 18 speed on Visas Mar, and now it's more than ready. Did you just do one slice or two?
Nope, that was slicing it to A.
Oh, slicing it to okay. So you did both the slices.
I got protection. Yeah, I got one protection. So the protection's at like 1600 and speed to 18.
Very nice. All right. So that makes this a lot easier then. So now we have Visas with 18. Now you don't have to worry about losing the Enfys one, right? So this one is a health set. We're going to match it with the other health set, which is going to be Hermit Yoda, right? So we have Hermit Yoda in the square. We have Visas Mar in the circle. Then we have a tenacity in the triangle that we can match with the tenacity in the diamond. So we can take rays from the diamond. We can take Enfys from the triangle. We then have a defense on Finn, right? So we can now look at a defense arrow. So we're going to go to arrow, we're going to go to defense, we're going to look at speed primaries, we're going to see what 30 speed mods you have on a defense set arrow, and you do have a few of them. And so the next thing we're going to do is filter it by health secondary.
Okay.
And there's really one that shows up, and that's the one on Finn, and you do have a lot of protection on there. It has health, unless you have one that's sitting in your inventory.
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing else.
So then we will go with the one on Finn. And so you have a 30 speed. Let me get my thing back here. Okay, so you have a 30 speed on Finn. That's a defense. Now you have a few different sets that you're running here, but again, we're optimizing speed while trying to get the two-piece bonuses. The two-piece bonuses aren't necessarily the focus, but they're there to provide your characters some additional boosts. And so what we're going to do then, in terms of a final thing, is your Hermit Yoda in your square, and that's a health set. Your Visas Mar in your circle, that's a health set. The Scavenger Ray Diamond, which is a tenacity set. Your Enfys Triangle, which is a tenacity set. Your Finn in your cross, which is a defense set. And then your Finn in your arrow, which is a defense set. So that means your Nihilus is going to have a health set, a tenacity set, and a defense set. So he's going to have a little bit of everything. He's going to be your general kind of all-purpose type of mod sets.
Cool.
And if we then look at your speed that you can expect for this character, right? He's going to have he has 120 speed right now as a base, right? And then he's going to gain plus. He's going to gain 15 from Hermit Yoda, 17. He's going to gain 18, 30, 18, and 16. So your Nihilus, 15, 17, 18, 30, 18, and 16. So we should have 234 speed with all of these bonuses, which gains what, 50 speed on your current Nihilus?
Sounds right. Let's see.
Yep. He's 184 right now. So yeah, so he'll become 234.
Very nice.
So that should be a huge help to getting your Nihilus faster. You do want to make sure his speed is fast. One, because when you turn meter swap with Thrawn, it'll then allow you to get Thrawn to go quicker with his fracture, especially if you're facing like a Sith trooper. You want to get that fracture up quickly. So those are all like little things that you're going to be looking for. Okay, so I'm going to do my arena battle here really quick before my shard gets mad at me.
That's all right. I got to hop up for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right, perfect. So if you guys in chat have any questions, go ahead and you can post them there. We're remodding Walter Arnold's roster here. It's not Spaceman Tim, it's Walter Arnold. So I did learn my lesson there. And so we are Going to, let me do this here. There we go. So we're gonna get back to it in a second. I'm doing my arena battles. Why do you hope I lose, Nathaniel Miller? I do. So mean. Hoping I lose. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. I don't have my phone connected right now in order to kind of show you my arena battles. So I'll remember to do that next time. I forgot about the timing here. So that doesn't help matters, but that's what happened. So just doing my battle here. Okay, Thrawn is dead. Let's get rid of that. And let's try this again. Okay. And we can do that. There goes Traya. And I'm using actually the same team as what I'm working on with Walter Arnold. So I use Emperor Palpatine and the Triumvirate with Thrawn as my offense team. So everything that I'm telling him is the same stuff that I'm using myself. So it works out well. Heal up. And let's see if we can get some stuns. Stupid Enfys. Enfys never gets stunned. It's a pain in the ass. Alright, let's keep going here. There we go. Now Enfys is stuck. Alright. And annihilating Enfys, and now we finish off Nihilus. There we go. Okay. Simple enough. I'll have to do another battle here in a few minutes, but actually I'll have to do back-to-back because I'm at the refresh here in a second, so... hold on. I have to do a refresh anyways. I guess I'll have to go around. Okay. Alright. Alright, and you said you're back, right?
Yep, I am.
Alright. So, that takes care of that. So then the next character we'll want to mod is your Traya. Now, Traya... Oh, and let me do this here, as we've done it with all the other characters. I'm going to shift this to the back. Let's switch to red. Okay, get the pen. I'm going to put my pen. There it is. Okay, so now we're going to do Nihilus. Okay, and the mods that we chose for him are Hermit Yoda, Finn, Enfys, Visas, and Rey. So I'm going to remove that layer, and there we go. Now you can see it more clearly. This is the next character that we modded, and it's Darth Nihilus. Yeah, drew it right through it. There we go. Okay, so the next one we did was Darth Nihilus. So next thing we're going to go to is Traya. I know what I did wrong. Okay, try this again. There we go. Okay, so next thing we're going to look at is Traya. Now, you can figure out which character you want to put it on. Like which one you want to use as a placeholder in order to use this. Traya does need to be fast, right? But you have two ways of kind of modding her. You can either make her really fast, like super, super fast, or the other one is to make her more offense oriented.
Okay.
So the preference for a lot of people is more offense, but you do need to make sure that you have fast offense mods on her. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is going to be kind of a little bit of a different. So we are going to do like the same diagrams, right? The diagrams help us do the comparison, so we can easily kind of see. But we're gonna probably end up using a couple more of them. So I'm gonna draw 3 of them. So speed set is one thing, right? But the other thing we're gonna look for, and we're gonna do this first. So we want speed. I'll write it here. So we're looking at speed set. So that's one thing. We're going to look at offense set, which is another thing. And then we're going to look at secondary offense with speed, secondary speed.
Okay.
Okay. So Traya is going to be a little bit more complicated. You can kind of go whichever way you want. And then after these 3 kind of diagrams, we can then figure out the next one we want, because now we're identifying kind of the 4-piece sets with the first 2, and then just kind of get an idea of your mods with the last diagram. So if we go to your mods again, and we'll start out with the speed set. Luckily with the speed set, and I'm going to bring this up here, with your Nihilus, right, we didn't really use any of your speed sets. Right, we ended up going with complete non-speed. And so one thing we can do, and again, it's going to look a little messy on the screen, but what we're going to do is in the diagram, we can basically fill out with what we got with Nihilus, so we don't have to kind of redo anything. We can look at the arrow again. The arrow is the only thing that may change, but the other secondaries are still going to be fastest on the same characters as what we did last time.
Okay,
so we
gotcha.
have Poe, and then we have the 12 on R2. And so you can kind of see it here. So we have Grand Admiral Thrawn, R2, Poe on the left, Sion First Order, and R2 on the right. If we switch it here, we have Grand Admiral Thrawn, R2, Poe on the left, and then we have the 30, which will go back on First Order Officer, and the 12 on R2. So we don't have to redo that, right? No need to do double work.
Gotcha.
Next thing we'll do is then go to offense. So we're going to do the same searches as we did, but this time we're going to go to offense, and then we're going to actually look at speed secondaries on the offense set. So offense set, speed secondaries, we're going to look at the square first.
Okay.
And the fastest one that I see is a 13 on Enfys.
Yes.
Okay. So we have the 13 on Enfys.
Yeah, by far that's the fastest.
Okay. So then next we're going to go to your diamond. And I see 12 on Ezra.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have the 12 on Ezra. Then we'll go to your triangle. Oh, you don't have a lot of one on here. The fastest one I'm seeing is a 4 on Sith Assassin.
Let's see. I've got 2 unassigned. I've got one that the fastest is 5 speed offense. So offense mod 5 speed.
And what's the primary?
Primary is protection.
Okay.
I've got another one that's 4 speed, but protection also.
So we'll stick with the one on Sith Assassin. Sith Assassin has an offense primary, which is nice. It's 4 speed, which is low. So I think in the end we're going to end up replacing it anyways. But you have Sith Assassin as your fastest with 4 speed. It's not a big deal with only 1 speed, so I'm not too worried about that one.
Okay. For what it's worth, the one that's unassigned has a 78 offense stat on it.
Okay. Yeah, the offense primary stat is going to be better than the secondary flat stat, if you can get it,
okay.
Especially if you can upgrade it to 6E. And so we're also kind of keeping that in mind too. But even without it, the primaries tend to be better. So we'll probably look for a primary as well with offense when we look at the offense set.
Okay.
So we're going to go to your circle next. And the fastest one that I see is a 18 speed Enfys, but I think we're using that, right? No, we're not. So I see 18 speed Enfys. Do you have anything faster?
Nothing faster. I've got a 14 speed that's unassigned.
Okay, so we have your fastest as Enfys. And then lastly, we're going to look at the cross. We're going to try and look for an offense primary, but we're not going to select it yet. You don't have any offense primaries, right? So your fastest is a 16 that's on Enfys that I see.
Correct.
Okay, so we have 16 on Enfys. So what I'm going to do...
I do have an offense primary that's unassigned, but it's only 4 speed right now. It's gray mod.
Okay. So chances are then we're not going to be using offense set potentially with this. So what I'm going to do actually is, for the cross mod, I'm going to unselect the set. I'm going to keep speed secondary selected, but I'm going to click offense primary. So we're looking at all of your sets in your cross mod and looking for an offense primary. We use the one on Rex. And so the fastest one I'm seeing is a 14 speed potency on Bastila. Is that the same thing you're seeing?
Yeah, we're sorting by offense primary?
Yeah, so it'll be cross mod, no set selected, offense primary, speed secondary.
Oh, there we go. That's primary. And then sorting by speed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, Rex. Yep, yeah, Rex, Bastila, BB-8, CLS.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have Bastila, and she's a 14 speed, and it's a potency. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at so far, right, between the two. What I'm noticing is that you're, especially, and we noticed this from the last one too, right, you lose a lot of speed at the bottom. Your circle and your cross end up losing a lot of speed. And if we went through and looked at your fastest mods in the other spots, so your arrow, your square, your diamond, and your triangle, I think we'll find mods that are going to be a little bit faster, maybe not as fast as the other ones, but I think you're going to end up losing a lot of speed. And we'll check that here in a second. But just overall, I think we're at the point where we're pretty sure we're going to be going with offense on your Traya and getting her as fast as possible using offense set and just trying to load her up with offense as much as possible.
Sounds good.
So then with that, we're going to go to your arrow, and let's do kind of a first check. We'll do arrow offense with a offense primary. So offense set, offense primary, arrow. And you don't have any of those. Okay?
Nope.
So then what we'll do is we'll do speed. Hopefully you have some of those. Good. You have enough of those that we can justify then, because you still want her fast, right? So the other comparison would be, if you have offense primary, what speed secondaries do you have on those, and is it kind of worth it? But since you don't have it, saves us some time. We'll focus on offense primary, and what we'll do is look for flat offense secondary. So 4 things we've had clicked is arrow mod, offense set, speed primary, offense secondary. And with that, your fastest offense primary is a Enfys, who also has percentage offense, and it's nice that they kind of highlight that now. So your fastest one is going to be your 30 speed on Enfys. So we're going to make a note of that offense-wise. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So then the next thing we're going to do, so we know that you have your offense sets here, right? Next thing we're going to do is look for your other 2 spots. We looked a little bit at your cross, right? But we're going to look for, in your triangle spot in particular, we're going to go triangle with offense primary, speed secondary, and no set. So only 3 things selected. Okay. And we're going to look for your fastest mod with an offense primary. Your fastest one is the one on Thrawn, which we already have used, right? So we're not worried about that one. But your next one is a critical damage on Night Sister Acolyte.
I've got an unassigned one that's a defense mod set with 12 speed, a secondary.
Okay. So you have a 12 speed with
defense primary.
Okay, that works. So we have a 12 speed, and it's unassigned, right? So for unassigned, I put UNM for unmodded. So that means it's just kind of in the list. And it's a defense set. Okay, so if we were to go with something that we get with your max offense, right? In order to try and max it out, you're going to get a bonus of 8 speed on your triangle, right? You may lose 2 speed on your cross, but you're going to gain the offense primary by switching away from Enfys on your offense set, right? From your fastest one. And so I don't think we have to go too much further. I think this is the way that your mods are going to end up lining up. Because you are losing a lot of speed in different spots when you compare it to the speed set. Your speed set can be saved for a different character. And so what I think we'll do is end up, and so we can just kind of go to the final stage here. For your Traya, your square mod will be from Enfys. And we'll do one other check here. Actually, let's do the check first before we finalize it. We looked, so we know we're going with offense, right? We're going to focus on her offense part. Let's go back to her offense sets. So I'm going to go back to the square and just do a quick check, right? Does she have anyone close to her? And we just need to do the first one, I think, to get an idea. Because if we start losing even more than one, it's not going to be worthwhile. So what I did was I went back to offense set square with speed secondaries. So just those 3 clicked.
Okay.
Looking at your fastest mods and trying to see if the next one has maybe a little bit of loss of speed, but gives you offense secondary. Right? So you're going to try and see how you can really optimize that offense. And from what I'm seeing, no. There isn't any offense or anything, right? So I'm fine with focusing on your Traya being much more offensive centered with a lot of speed. So if we go to your final modding here, we're going to look at your Enfys in your square.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to look at Enfys in your arrow. We're going to look at Enfys in your circle. So a lot of Enfys mods are moving here. We're going to look at Bastila in your cross. We're going to look at Ezra in your diamond. And then your unmodded 12 speed defense set in your triangle.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is go to... I don't want to... If I go to it, it's going to mess it up. Let me do this, because I know mine is... I have to do another arena battle. Hold on.
Oh, sure.
Because I need to move into position before I get yelled at. Okay. Do this. Alright. Alright. So I'm isolating Nihilus. Go ahead and fracture Sion. And let's go ahead and attack Thrawn. Start getting some debuffs up. Let's see if we can kill Thrawn here. Oh, almost. Okay, cooldown reduction. Let's keep on going. And Thrawn is dead. Let's get a shock up on Traya. And goodbye, Traya. Now we're killing Nihilus. Hooray! Emperor Palpatine lead makes things a lot easier against Traya team. So this is the team, I was mentioning this, I think, while you were gone. I don't know if you heard. But in my arena, I use the Emperor Palpatine team as well in order to beat the Traya teams. So the team that I'm working on you is pretty much the team that I'm using. The only real difference is that my Traya I modded for speed. And that's just primarily because I have a lot of speed mods on her, a lot of like fast mods in general. And so I just wanted a faster Traya. But with an EP lead, you gain turn meter at a pretty good clip. And so it's really not necessary. So you should be pretty good with this mod build out. Let's kill Enfys, and now we can just kill Sion on auto, and then I have to refresh and do a second battle. Haha. Okay, so I did that. I have to move up. All right. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Get rid of him. Right. Okay, keep on rolling here. All right, hurry up.
Sir Loki is saying exactly what I was thinking. He says, "You're making me run in Florida." I was like, I used to live down in Gainesville, Florida, and so I know how humid and hot it gets down there.
You went to UF?
I did not actually, but I live just outside of Gainesville, so a Gator by proxy.
Okay. I was gonna say.
But live up in North Carolina now, so. But yeah, I can't imagine running a marathon or a half marathon in Florida, even if it is at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah, it's something else.
But I'm happy to support you guys in doing that for me.
Hurry up! This battle is taking too long because it's one of the harder teams. Okay. Alright, I'm good to go, and then I have to do my next battle in a little bit here, so... Alright. No, Jacksonville is actually worse than Gainesville in some cases, so... Kalessin is saying, are you in an EST shard? I've been trying to figure out how I got placed in CST. Yes. Yeah, I'm an EST shard. Now, the way you got placed in a CST as an EST is potentially because you came in a daylight savings time. It gets messed up if somebody else started on daylight savings time and it like shifts and then everything can get logged off. So somebody that is Eastern that logged into the game at the same time as like an Eastern time zone gets messed up with daylight savings. Well, I had this discussion with somebody else last time. Like it gets all funky because yeah, daylight savings time is weird. So yeah, that's essentially what happened, more likely than not. Okay, so we finished Traya, right? Looks like we finished Traya.
Yes. Yep.
Oh yeah, I was going to calculate the speed of Traya. That's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
So your Traya, let me go to my Traya here. And let's see, so my Traya is 248 with 114 So she is a 134 speed, and I don't think she has anything that gives speed at gear 11. Nope. So that means the speed bonus gives 13, right? But it doesn't really matter because we're not doing the speed bonus. So her base is 134, and then she's going to get from your mods 13, 30, 12, 12, 18, and 14. And so it'll be 134 plus 13 plus 30 plus 12 plus 12 plus 18 plus 14. So you're going to have a 233 speed Traya, which is not shabby at all. Right? And she's going to get an offense set. So yours is going to start hitting like a truck when she starts getting the bonuses. So you're going to be able to kill a lot of things with that. So
cool. Yeah, after looking at those mods, it looks like I need to do some offense mod set farming in general. So
it's not, yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, you're pretty good on offense. Offense has more benefits now, which is definitely true. It's a definite help, and so you can definitely start focusing on offense a bit more. Yeah. So let's see. So that gets us with Traya, right? So let me add Traya now to our list. And then we're almost down to our last character as I finish my arena stuff.
Excellent.
Traya. And so we have Enfys. We have Ezra. We have Enfys. We have Bastila. We have the unmodded 12. Let me make it like normal. UNM 12 defense set. And then we have Enfys. And we can put the... Oh no, I did this all in the wrong layer. Ah, I thought I clicked the right layer. Ah! I don't really care if I mess up that layer. I'm gonna put it on this one anyways. Okay, so this is going to get all weird looking, but okay, so we have Traya. Let's try this again here and do this correctly. So again, we have Enfys, we have Ezra, we have Enfys, we have Bastila, we have the unmodded 12, that's on a defense set, and we have Enfys. And then we can put the little separation. Ah! Okay. So then we get that. So now we have our second to last character, and then the last one is Emperor Palpatine. So I'll make the diagram for him now. And we're going to go ahead and get to work on him. So Emperor Palpatine is going to be fast. The only other consideration we're really looking for Emperor Palpatine is potency, because you really want to make sure that the shocks and everything stick. It can really help to prevent Sith Trooper from taunting. It can help from Sion from taunting, especially if you're facing Traya and somebody gets isolated. So you're looking for fast, and you're looking for potency. Okay, and so I have another minute and a half before I need to do my arena battle. So we'll do speed first, and then we'll look for potency as a set, and then we'll also look for non-speed and non-potency. So we're going to do kind of 3 sets with this one.
Okay.
Okay. So again, we're not using any of your speed sets with this one, right? We didn't use any of your speed. And so we're going to go back to the original one and just go ahead and use the information that we got from there. Right? So we had the 11 on Grand Admiral Thrawn. We had the 30, which we can go back. We had the 10 from First Order Officer. We had the 11 on R2. We had the 11 on Poe. We had the 12 on R2.
Correct.
Okay, so again, we just did this one's pretty easily. So what we'll do next is we're going to do potency set and do the same thing with speed secondaries. We're only looking at potency set. We'll look at potency primary as we get to the cross, as that's the only one, and we'll decide if we really want to do anything with that. So if we're doing the square, it looks like, and we'll stop right after this one really quick because I'm almost at my arena battle. So
Sure.
7 speed is on Darth Sidious. Do you have anything faster in your inventory?
That's it.
That's it?
Those 4.
Okay. So I'm going to do my battle. So give me 1 second here. So now I am fighting a Bastila team. So when I'm fighting Bastila team, I switch to my Traya team. So now I'm using my Traya team, and let's see if we can beat this Bastila team. It's usually not a problem. The trick is fairly simple. You just have to isolate Grandmaster Yoda, and the team starts to like really fall apart. So, and then I usually just keep on attacking Kenobi and just let everybody else kind of do their thing. They all attack my Sith Trooper, and my Sith Trooper is pretty beefy, so nothing really happens. It's a lot of wasted effort. They may kill him at the very end. I need to put a crit avoidance. I need to upgrade his crit avoidance arrow. That's one thing I haven't done. He has a crit avoidance arrow, but it's not 6E. And so he still takes a beating, but he could take a bigger beating.
And you said the speed secondary for the crit avoidance arrow to look for is like a minimum of like 15?
So for Sion, yes. For Sith Trooper, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Sith Trooper can be really as slow as you want. Actually, in some cases, the slower the better. So I wouldn't worry about the speed on Sith Trooper.
Okay.
Alright. And we keep on going here. Kenobi's almost dead. Well, not dead, but he's almost out of the protection, which means he loses all of his tenacity, and then I can do all kinds of crap to him. And his protection is gone. And we remove all the buffs again. Whee! Right, let's isolate Grandmaster Yoda again. And then we annihilate Ezra. Now he has no... Now there's like no offense whatsoever. So I'm just going to stick this on auto. We'll kill Kenobi. Kenobi's almost dead. The greatest thing about the Jedi team is you have one character you can pretty much ignore completely. Hermit Yoda is really good, but man, you can just ignore him. So you annihilate Ezra, you just focus on Kenobi during that whole time period, so he's dead. Now Grandmaster Yoda just got killed from damage because he's squishy. And now I can just kill Bastila. And Hermit Yoda is trying to do his darndest in order to try and stay alive, but, you know, nothing you can do when you annihilate Bastila.
Do you think that Jolee will have any advantages over running Hermit Yoda on that team?
No, the only thing it would be in territory wars that would allow you to put your Hermit Yoda on a different team. But for the purposes of arena, no, Jolee's is pretty much weaker.
Gotcha.
He gives you the res ability. It's nice, but I mean, if you don't have Hermit Yoda stealthing, you could easily start taking out. You can take out Jolee pretty easily with a fracture. I use Enfys. I could easily switch to Thrawn, fracture Kenobi, and then just kill Jolee.
Okay.
So I mean, it's really easy to modify with that one. Hermit Yoda stealthing is kind of his big thing because he can heal outside. So, okay. So getting back to your mods again. So potency, your fastest one was a +7. We will switch over to your diamond. And your diamond, your fastest one is a 13 that I'm seeing on First Order Officer.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So then the next one is a triangle. And the triangle, the fastest one I'm seeing is a Rex. I don't think we used the Rex triangle. I'm checking right now. We did.
I think we did on Sion.
Yes, we did. We used it on Sion. See, that's why we keep that running list. So the next one is on Grandmaster Yoda of 14.
Yep, I don't think we used that one.
Okay. And if you don't have anything in your...
Fastest.
Okay. I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Okay. So we have your 14 on Grandmaster Yoda. Then we're going to your circle. Right. So your circle, the fastest one I see is a 9 on Darth Nihilus.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. So 9 on Darth Nihilus. And then lastly, we're going to go to your cross. And your cross, we're going to take a little bit of an extra look to see if we have any potency primaries. You do have a potency primary. It is on your Magma Trooper. And it loses 4 speed, which I think is actually perfectly fine to lose that. Again, it's an Emperor Palpatine lead, and so he's going to be gaining a lot of turn meter. You want him to be fast, but losing the potency, losing this 4 speed, not a huge deal. So I think we would go with the 10 on Magma Trooper, unless you have anything with more, with a potency primary and speed secondary with the potency set in your.
No.
Okay.
Nope, just what you got there.
Okay. So we focus on that. Now we'll go to your arrow. So for your arrow, we're looking at potency set, speed primary. Let's see how many you have of those first. You do have a good amount. And so the next thing we'll do is switch to a potency secondary. And your potency secondary is a 3.21 on your Magma Trooper. And it's a gold mod, so that's also nice. So we'll keep that 30 there. And it's Magma. Okay. So we have your mods there. We'll do before we look at non-speed and non-potency, let's do your subtraction one first. And just see what kind of the difference is between speed and potency. You'll gain 4 with your square. It's a 0 there, -2, -4. Let me put this in the correct spot. -4. +2 and +2. So you actually will gain a lot of speed compared to your... You'll actually gain speed with your speed set over your potency set. Now the question is, how much potency are you really going to manufacture with that speed set, right? We didn't really look at your speed or your potency secondaries. So we're going to go back, right? So we're going to go to your square. We're going to look at speed set, speed secondaries. We know that is Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? But that one actually has 1.7% potency. So what I'm going to do on the diagram here is I'm just going to put a little plus above it with 1.7. So we mark kind of how much potency you're gaining. Then we're going to go to your circle and do the same thing. So with your circle, we have the 11 speed on Poe, and that one actually also has potency, which is 1.18. And then we'll look at your cross. Your cross is a 12 speed on R2, and that's actually a potency primary. So this one is actually a huge boost that you have a potency primary. And then lastly, we're going to look at your arrow with speed set, speed primary, and potency as your secondary. And you actually have one with 3.4 potency as a green mod on Bosk.
Okay, yep.
So, based on this, right, what I'm seeing is that you do have potency secondary on a bunch of your mods as a secondary. You will gain 8 speed plus a speed set bonus on your Emperor Palpatine, so that will make him a lot faster. You will lose some potency. You'll lose 2 sets of potency, essentially. But you're losing that, but you also have some speed or some potency secondaries, which can help to compensate that to some extent. So it's up to you kind of how you want to focus. I think I would go with your speed set and go from there. But do you have a preference whether you want speed or potency?
No, I'll defer to your judgment for this one here.
Okay. I like a fast Palpatine. Him getting stuns. It also allows you in territory wars, potentially, to put Emperor Palpatine in as a 5th. If you want to try and keep all the Sith together and not use like a Thrawn or an Enfys and save them on offense, you could go Traya lead, Sion, Nihilus, Sith Trooper, and Emperor Palpatine. That is an effective team on defense. And a fast Palpatine will help with that because obviously you're not gaining the same turn meter.
Okay.
So what I would do then, and so this should increase your potency pretty well on your Emperor Palpatine as well. So your Emperor Palpatine, his square will be on Grand Admiral Thrawn. Your arrow will be from Bosk. Your circle will be from Poe. Your cross will be from R2. Your diamond will be from First Order Officer. And your triangle will be from Grand Master Yoda. So you'll get a potency set, and you'll get a speed set. And so in total, if we were going to, let's take a look at your Emperor Palpatine and let's figure out what his speed would be. And I think my arena battle is about to come back up. Oh, yeah, my arena battle's up. So let me do my arena battle, and then we'll calculate it. Because once I do this one, I should be in position. Assuming nothing bad happens. All right.
Yeah, it looks like his base speed is 122.
Okay. What am I going to do here? No, his Nihilus is slow. Okay. There we go. And let's start taking out his Thrawn. I'll isolate. Do the stun. Let's do an ability block. Let's get a... the shock missed. I hate when shock gets resisted. Despite your potency and all that kind of stuff, it still has a chance. It's annoying. Okay, come on. Let's get a shock up. Hooray, shock is up. Alright. And Traya's down. Thrawn is down. And let's get a shock up. Okay, so Sith Trooper has a shock now. Let's get a shock on Nihilus. Nihilus has a shock now. And let's fracture Nihilus for the hell of it. Alright, this one should be should be ending shortly here. Yeah, I don't want to keep him. There we go. Moved my isolate onto Sion. So if you put an isolate on Sion and he has a revive thing, he doesn't res again. So you can let him do whatever the hell he wants.
Oh, that's good enough.
So usually as it gets closer to the end of the match, as I know Sion will probably do his revive thing, I just put the isolate on him and I can kill Nihilus pretty easy. So okay, I'm not even gonna bother paying attention now. It's only Sion and Sith Trooper left, so I'm just gonna put it on auto. Okay, I'll monitor it just in case, but it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so if we're looking at your Emperor Palpatine, you said 122 speed.
Correct, base, yeah.
Okay, Emperor Palpatine is a 122 speed, and let me take a quick look. Does he have gear 12 pieces? No, so he's, yeah. So that means his 10% bonus is going to add 12 speed, right? And then in terms of the positions, Grand Admiral Thrawn is adding, so 122 plus, we have 11, we have 30, then we have First Order Officer, which is 13, we have 14, we have 11, we have 12, and then we have another 12 from his bonus, which means your Emperor Palpatine will have 122, 11, 30, 13, 14, 11, 12, and 12, which means he's going to have 225 speed, or he should.
Okay. Awesome.
And that's a pretty good speed with a good potency amount on your Emperor Palpatine, so he should fare pretty well. And yeah. So we'll go to your final sheet here again. And let's go ahead and mark down the mods and where they're coming from. So for Emperor Palpatine, he is getting his square from Grand Admiral Thrawn, his arrow from Bosk, his First Order officer, Grand Master Yoda, no, too low, Poe, and R2. Okay, and if we remove this, and I drew it on the wrong layer again, haha, fail. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, I think at that one I drew right, so let's try this again. Grand Admiral Thrawn, and I'm doing it again. Good. Click on the right, there we go. Okay, now stay there. Alright, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Bosk, Grand Master Yoda, First Order Officer, we got Poe, and we got R2. Okay, now if I remove this layer, it should look correct. Hooray! Okay, there we go. So now this is Walter Arnold's 5 characters. And obviously Traya you can put on whatever character you want. But okay. Again, so Thrawn is your speed. He's your fastest one. Sion is speed plus tanky. Right? Nihilus is speed, but the only thing is you didn't have a speed set, so we didn't really use speed set on him, but he is kind of for speed set. Emperor Palpatine is speed and potency. And Traya is offense. And so there's some variation between characters, how you want to do it, but for you, I think this would be your best setup. And then once you get them, you can kind of play around with this. This should be a solid counter team for you.
Excellent, excellent. And you said when I'm going in to do the mod loadout, it's best to set these by the names of the characters? Is that
correct?
What you're doing in general?
Because then when you can move around mods a little bit, so there's a couple of reasons, right? So let's say you want to put your fastest mods on a character because you're doing a new raid, right? You know that your fastest set is on Thrawn. So you can move the mods from Thrawn, right? Then afterwards, you can equip Thrawn with your mods. The problem is that they're scattered on different characters, right? So let's suppose you want to put it on Hermit Yoda for the raid. You move the mods from Thrawn to Hermit Yoda, you do the raid, you re-equip Thrawn with your speed. Now your Hermit Yoda is not equipped. How do you re-equip him? Right? Do you remember what the set name is, like Speed 2 or Speed 3? Or do you have a set named Hermit Yoda that you can just pull back on his character?
Okay, gotcha.
So it helps to kind of organize that. The other reason also is if you have it on a specific character, right, and they're always kind of sitting on that character when you're done, you can do the filters, and remember how there's an option to exclude mods on loadouts? So if you do it that way, then you can exclude the mods that are already on Thrawn by having his loadout set to Thrawn. Now, if your mods go all over the place, you can still do it, right? But Thrawn may have mods, and it may get confusing if you throw like some other mods on him. If you swap because you know you're keeping mods on a particular character for a while, like it can get complicated. So it's always easier just to have it set by character. With some description as to what it is in order to give you an idea, but yeah, make sure you have some character label to it.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very, very much for taking the time to do this with me, Fenn. That's it's hugely appreciated. It's obviously a whole team here that I hadn't paid literally any attention to with mod-wise, so that was a lot to go through. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and thank you again. So if you guys don't know what's going on, and I'll bring up this screen again, we are trying to raise money to go to Run Disney for a charity run. But we do need help with the travel, and so one of the things I'm doing is if you donate $25 to the GoFundMe, I will help you remod 5 of your characters just like I did for Walter Arnold, and if you saw the earlier title of the stream, just like I will do for Spaceman Tim. so for 25 I'll help you guys remod 5 of your characters. We'll go through kind of like this. We'll discuss what your thoughts are, why we're going in a particular direction, if you want to go a different direction, what your purposes are, because you can really do different things with mods. Depends on the team composition, what you plan on running now, later, territory wars. Like, there's a bunch of different things you can kind of remod for. So as you saw with what we did with Walter Arnold, I'll work with you guys and kind of focus, and we'll go through character by character and get your characters remodded. Awesome. All right. So with that, again, if this is our webpage that you're seeing on the screen, it is realityskewegamers.com. Our website is up. It is under construction still because there's still some work to be done, but it is up. And on the main page, you will see a post for helping us get to Orlando. If you click on the image, it'll take you to the GoFundMe. There's also a link at the bottom. We will set up the Pledge It once we get enough that we know we're traveling. We obviously don't want to set it up too early if we're unable to get the funds. And if for whatever reason, again, any of the money is not being used for our travel to get there just for the event, so all we're doing is looking for the registration and then the hotel, and then that's it. And then the airfare, of course. All the money will go directly to a charity of our choice, and we'll end up having to do something else. But we think this can be a really big fundraiser. We can raise over the $10,000 that we raised earlier in June. So all of your help is greatly appreciated for this. And for everyone that does give to the GoFundMe, after the race is done, we plan on creating a shirt where all proceeds will go to the charity that will have your name as helping us get to the event, and then for everyone that does Pledge It as well. So we'll put your names on the shirt and everything. It's going to be pretty fun, and again, lots of opportunities for fundraising here for the charity. So with that, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys got something out of it. If you would like me to help you remod some characters, head to the GoFundMe. And until next time, this is Finity signing out for Reality Skewed Gamers.